and welcome to another edition of Boxing Al Garete with your host, Robert Sanchez. All right, people. Sorry for the noise, for the background noise. I'm in my car like always. I'm on my lunch break. Sorry for the delay. I know it's a little later than usual. I usually do videos a little earlier, but it's just the only time I was able to grab lunch. So, this is all I could do. So, and then about the noise, and it's raining. So, what can we do? All right, here. So, good couple articles here for you today. First one is stating that George Grove, who is also from the UK, is picking actually Deontay Wilder to knock out Tyson Fury. He says that this time he'll knock him down hard enough and that Tyson will stay down. Grove has noticed that Wilder has put on a few extra pounds and he's pushing his punches better with them. He doesn't think Fury will be able to mentally psych himself out for this September matchup. So he's also saying that he saw the knockout for Brazil. It impressed him a whole lot. He said 6 months ago I would have had said Joshua is the best heavyweight in the division. Now he's not champion no more. You can't say Reese is the number one heavyweight because I think there's a dozen people out there that beat him. After this latest performance, I'd say Wilder is the most impressive. So, that's coming, from Roe, who's also from the UK. And the last final words he says, I feel Fury is fantastic. He's getting into opponents' heads and always has a bearing of his fights. I don't know if he can get into Wilder's head the same again in the rematch. If he didn't, and Wilder comes in heavier like he did against Dominic Brazil a couple weeks ago, and it'll be a different fight because Fury might not get up from those knockdowns. And Joshua is a man mountain. He's huge. Probably the hardest puncher in the world. I still believe he beats Reese in the rematch. Something wasn't right with him. Whatever it was. He wasn't switched on, and he took Reese too lightly. So he's picking Joshua for the rematch. He picks Deontay Wilder to beat Fury. That's basically all he's really stated. So moving on. Now the little news that I want to talk about is actually a little bit funny because Hearns is disgusted with talk of Fury versus Miller showdown. He went on to say, "I'm not bothered about Gerald Miller, but the dust just hasn't settled in. How can you say dust has not settled? People ask me all the time if I would work with Gerald Miller again in 2 years, 3 years. Who knows what could happen right now? How can you work with Gerald Miller? We're talking about something that just happened 6 or 8 weeks ago." Excuse me. And he goes on to say, "That's everything that's wrong with boxing. If you don't make an example of people like this wasn't just one little substance that could be found in this. This is all the blank cheating. I've said it like Gerald Miller, but if we don't make an example of this, why do we even bother? What's the point in testing? Why don't we just say, yeah, take what you want?" Now, it's funny that he says that because most likely one of his fighters is taking steroids. Dylan White has came out in numerous occasions and claimed that he feels that Joshua is taking steroids. Hearns or Joshua have not answered back to those claims. They basically ignore those claims, even though if you talk to them about that Joshua had a mental breakdown, that Joshua got knocked down in sparring, they'll deny that right away. But for some reason, they don't bring up the steroid thing, and they don't deny nothing of that sort. Now, the reason why I find this funny is because he's going in on Miller. Like, why does it bother you that he's trying to make money? Why? How does that affect you? Like, let the man make some money. Yeah, he fucked up. He took steroids. Okay. he learned his lesson. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he won't do it again. And if he does, he's gonna get caught because people are gonna be on his shit. It's already on his record. Everybody knows he's done it before in the past. So people are gonna be on their shit when it comes to him. So most likely he won't do it again. Second of all, it's funny how you want people to make an example out of Miller, but then yet again, if you look at history and if you go back a few years back, most of the boxers that have gotten caught with steroids are from overseas. So, but now an American boxer, heavyweight at that, gets caught, and black at that. A black heavyweight boxer gets caught, and now we got to make an example out of him. Why didn't we make an example out of Provocaine when he caused Wilder the fight? When Wilder tried to make the fight and he got caught with steroids. Why did we make an example out of him? Why did we make an example out of so many others? There's so many others that I can name that fail all the time and nobody says anything. But we got an American black boxer. We got to make an example out of him. Fuck you, Hearn. That's all I got to say about that. So, he goes on to say, there are so many hypocrites in this sport. In the past, I've had guys box on my show that might be a year or 2 years after a failed test, and they've been fighting again. But in this case, 8 weeks, since it's still extremely raw and personal to me. On a serious note, what's the point? Someone told me if it was 4 tests, including urine and blood, there's no remorse. It's not like, yeah, I tried to get an edge on, and these guys told me to do this and that. It's literally, oh yeah, well, I had this with my elbow and this other thing. I don't know how that got into there, but don't worry about it, that I'm fighting soon. What the fuck? I don't agree with it. Well, you don't have to agree with it, Hearns. You know what I'm saying? You don't pay the man's bills. You don't pay the manager's bills. You're not promoting the fight. So what the fuck does it matter to you? Mind your fucking business. If he's in talks with Fury to make a fight, so fucking be it. You know what I'm saying? Let the man make his money. This is a hard sport. It's a hard sport, and it's a hard sport to make money in. So let these few guys that are making some money, let them make their money, man. Stay out of their business. Worry about Joshua and him. Because, the way he looks, I wouldn't doubt he's shooting some shit up. So you need to be checking about your boy and stop worrying about other people. Alright, moving on. Now this next thing that I want to talk about, this next fight is with David Benavidez and against Darrell. I'm very, very excited about that fight. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I think it's going to be a back and forth fight. Both fighters can bang. Both fighters can box. Both fighters, are just overall good fighters. If we go into details on the fight, it's been real crazy because they're talking about that Benavidez is dropping his sparring partners like crazy. He already began training, and according to Lokoski, the young boxer held a couple of public sparrings and battered 3 different boxers. Everyone thought he was showing off, but it was 3 guys trying to beat David. It was crazy. One was a heavyweight who quit in the 3rd round because he couldn't take any more punishment. The second guy he was toying with, and the third guy he left bleeding from the nose and mouth. He beat up all 3 of them. So, if this is true, if this news is true, then you know what? This man's a beast. He coming out swinging. Darrell got his homework cut out for him because, yeah, Benavidez don't come to play. And Darrell does have his championship because, we all know that Benavidez got stripped of the title for being caught doing, that little cokey coke. So, he had to give up the title, so he never really lost the title in the ring. So now Darrell has his title. So basically, if you look at it, this is a champion versus champion fight, So it should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Do I have any predictions at the moment? I'm a big fan of Darrell. I know he can box. But I really do think that Daniel Benavidez is going to overwhelm him with the constant pressure. So I'm leaning towards Benavidez on this one. But let's go to with the next news here. So, this one's actually, yeah, I pretty much you could say I saved the best for last. So WBC likely to rule on Dylan White mandatory position this week. Promoter Eddie Hearns is hoping that the WBC will be making a ruling by Friday on the mandatory status of Dylan White for the World Boxing Council make White's next fight against number 10 fringe contender Oscar Rivas for both the interim and a mandatory spot with a sanctioned body. So he not just wants them to tell him when that to make White the mandatory. He wants them to turn this next fight into basically an eliminator fight. So let's see here. For Wilder to have another mandatory as soon as sort of things of normal, Brazil had to wait 2 years for this shot after being the mandatory. So basically what the article's saying here that that who the fuck Hearns think he is, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because his fighter wants something, he needs to get it. No, it don't work that way, bro. They told you last time when I told you on my last video, WBC ordered White to fight Ortiz. He chose to go another direction. Right there and then, if I was the WBC, I would have fucking took him out of my motherfucking list. Fuck that. You're not doing what we're telling you to do, then fuck that. You don't need to fight for our championship. We told you to fight Ortiz. Now you want to bring Oscar Rivas, a number 10 on the WBC, somebody who nobody really knows, and you want to turn that into the eliminator fight. You want to turn that into the interim fight. Like, are you fucking insane, bro? Like, it don't work like that. The WBC didn't even pick Rivas for the eliminator. Y'all picked him. So that's what we're doing now. The promoters can pick the fighter for the eliminator for the belts. That's how this shit's gonna work. No, man, that shit can't work like that. So I'm hoping that if it is true that the WBC is gonna be making a decision, I hope their decision is to not make it for the mandatory, to force him to fight a top 5 contender for the mandatory, like normally it's done, and then he gets his title shot. So if that's the case, which I'm hoping that's the case, bro, you're not gonna see a title shot until 2021. So forget about it, bro. So you might as well just fight on some other people and keep it moving. All right. Well, that's all I got for the moment. Not much really going on this weekend. We do have the Paulie Malignaggi fight that is supposed to be bare knuckle fighting. I'll probably do a little video, maybe on Friday of the day of the weigh-in, just to see how they look. It should be an easy fight for Paulie. I don't see him losing, but he has been out of the ring for a couple years now, so we'll see how he performs. So hopefully I'll be making a video tonight. If not, I'll definitely do it tomorrow morning. Please hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to my channel, look me up on Instagram, look me up on Facebook, look me up on YouTube. I'm all over the place trying to get this boxing movement worldwide. Let's get it popping, people. Let's get this shit going. Peace.